Greetings, everyone. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video presentation. My name is Jed Schlackman. I'm a holistic counselor and spiritual energy healer. And in this short discussion, I'll be covering the topic of identity and experience, how those may or may not relate to one another. As I began this presentation, I stated my name as if that were something to identify who I am. If we look at our lives, we can see that there are a lot of things that we use to create a particular limited identity that we would perceive ourselves as being. We might use our name, our role, or relationships. We might identify with a certain diagnosis we've been given, with the gender of our body or the color of our skin, with the religion that we might have been attached to or brought up in, with a political party or ideology. We often say, I am, followed by something that we're choosing to identify ourselves with. Someone might say, I am Catholic, I am Jewish, I am Muslim, I am a Buddhist, I am a Democrat, a Republican, I am a man, I am a woman. There are many different things that we can follow those two words, I am, with. And once we do that, we start to see ourselves through the filter of that limited identity. This is something that is, in a sense, practical to do as we experience life as human beings. If we were to perceive ourselves as infinite consciousness, it would not be easy to take on the particular roles and relationships that we do here. However, if we do over-attach ourselves to a particular role, a particular label, then we're confining and limiting ourselves to that and not being open to evolving, to expanding our consciousness, and to having other types of experience, other possibilities that may be present. This is particularly important to consider when we're examining negative identities that we're attaching ourselves to. For example, if you attach yourself to having a particular disease or disorder, a particular disability, then you're not looking at the rest of who you are. You're not considering your full potential. And you're also not open to the possibility that you can transform and move beyond that particular limitation that you may have been experiencing. Anything that we experience in life is temporary. Nothing is ultimately permanent. If you identify yourself as a particular gender, race, religion, ideology, age, or whatever other characteristic that you associate with your current persona, then you're going to have some issues when you move on beyond your current physical incarnation. You can't really continue this identity permanently. However, your consciousness, your sense of being self-aware, does continue beyond the physical incarnation that you are presently participating in. Therefore, when you get to the point where you are no longer in this body, it's not really that productive to continue to identify with that personality that you are creating for this particular lifetime. Whatever negative or positive aspects that you may perceive in your current identity are just temporary. They're just part of your experience as a human being here. And if there's anything that you don't wish to continue to identify with, you do have the power to let that go, to create a different identity. You don't have to wait until your current incarnation ends for you to make many of those changes. You don't have to wait until another lifetime to have different relationships, to find a different career, to develop new skills or talents, to heal yourself of a particular illness or condition that you're experiencing. These things can all be addressed in the present. In order to make those shifts or changes, however, you would need to release your attachment to what you currently identify with. And what you currently identify with is typically based on things that you have been experiencing in the past. If you've been sick or ill, if you've had a particular pattern present in your life, you tend to find that familiar and you may identify with that. In doing so, you may find it hard to make the positive shifts or changes that you desire to. Therefore, if you are really seeking to make those changes, it's helpful to consider that whatever you've identified with up until this point isn't who you truly are on a deeper level. It's just something that you've been experiencing, and whatever you've been experiencing is not meant to be permanent. Everything in this realm is impermanent. Therefore, you have the possibility, the potential, to change things at any time. We are constantly recreating ourselves. The majority of the time in that recreation process, we're using what we're already familiar with, what we've been attached to in the past, and just recreating something identical or similar to what we've already experienced. However, that's not necessary. We can recreate ourselves in ways that are radically different than what we've experienced prior to the present. Therefore, I invite you to look at the way you identify yourself. If you ask yourself the question, who am I? What do you follow that with? How do you answer that? What do you consider to be your true identity? Do you identify with temporary feelings? Do you identify with labels that other people have placed on you from their perspectives? Do you identify with a particular role that you're playing, a particular relationship that you have, a job that you're doing? Really, who are you? This is something that most of us don't really take much time to consider. We kind of automatically identify ourselves in certain ways without really questioning it, without really considering that there is actually much more to who we are, much more than those labels that we've given ourselves, than those experiences that we've attached ourselves to. We are really points of awareness coming from an unlimited source. For the experiences that we're creating, we do place limitations upon ourselves, and there may come a time in your journey where you recognize that some of those limitations are no longer serving you. They're not allowing you to have the type of experience that you now desire. Who we choose to be, what we seek or desire, necessarily must evolve. It's not meant to be the same forever. take a lot of time to consider that, because that's really empowering for you to see that you're not limited. You're not constricted to the past, to your old patterns, to any conditions that you've been dealing with. Everything has the potential to change or transform. Therefore, when we consider identity, our identity is not limited by our experiences. It has been shaped by them based upon what we choose to identify with. Yet those are not synonymous. Who we are is not limited by what we've experienced. I appreciate every one of you for taking the time to explore these ideas, to work on your own personal growth and development. I invite those who are looking to explore this subject further to visit my website at www.phinsights.com. You can also find me on Facebook, facebook.com/Jedi Holistic Healing. I wish everyone a good day. Namaste.